Welcome back to Real Estate Mindset. Today's video is going to be absolutely bonkers. Now, the data is in, and Moody Analytics is now forecasting a 25% decline in the most overvalued metro areas. And y'all, that is music to my ears because we finally have another forecaster that is finally pricing in a recession. And come to find out, and you guys may have heard me in the past, I had always wondered if these forecasters were even pricing in a recession. And it turns out they weren't. So as we move forward into 2022, a lot of these forecasters like Redfin, Zillow, Realtor.com, and CoreLogic are going to start doing forecast pricing in a recession. And once they do that, y'all, that's when we're going to start seeing forecasters start projecting negative equity growth. And that's exactly what Moody Analytics is doing. So today, what we're going to do is we're going to jump into an article from Fortune magazine to really look at the US housing map just to see what states and what metro areas are severely overvalued. Now, the name of this article is titled, "These 210 housing markets are now vulnerable to a 20 to 25% home price decline, finds latest Moody's downgrade." So essentially what's happening here is people are continuing to downgrade their expectations on how the housing market is performing, which once again, you guys, is absolute music to my ears. It should be music to your ears, because if you remember just 6 months ago, people thought we were crazy. People thought we were crazy. Where are those people at now? Where are those people at now? Crying in a corner? I hope not. I hope what they're doing is accepting reality and preparing for it. Right? But regardless, you guys, remember this: I am not your financial advisor. Even if you want me to be, even if I want to be yours, I'm not. Even though my bio is as a father, husband, someone that does the dishes on my best days, and honey, I need to step up, and I admit that, realtor, loan officer, and instructor in all things real estate here in Texas. So if you guys can, please, for my efforts, like this video, subscribe if you haven't already, and please, you guys, comment below. Big shout out to all of my subscribers. You guys, I absolutely love you guys. Thank you for also empowering me. I'm speechless as to how humble I am because of you guys. So thank you. Let's jump into the article right now. And y'all, there's some really, really good stuff here. So I'm just going to start. Moody Analytics chief economist Mark, of course, disagreed. Back in May, Zandy came to Fortune with bold proclamation. The pandemic housing boom had peaked, and we were entering into a housing correction. A housing correction being a period where the housing market, which got priced to 3% mortgage rates, would work towards equilibrium. I'd see home sales volumes fall sharply. I'd also, Zandy said, put much of the nation at risk of home price correction. Fast forward to September, and it looks like Zandy's housing correction call was spot on. Not only is housing activity declining across the board, but some markets like Austin and Boise are already seeing falling home prices. This week, Fed Chair Jerome Powell acknowledged that the U.S. housing market is entering into a difficult correction. You guys, there is no guessing needed. Why people still deny what's happening is beyond me. I don't know what else we can do. Let's continue. That said, Zandy's views are shifting downward. In August, Moody Analytics downgraded their U.S. housing market outlook. Peak to trough, Moody's Analytics expected U.S. home prices to fall between 0 and 5% and fall 5 to 10% in significantly overvalued housing markets. That August forecast assumed, and here's the problem, no recession. You guys, we have so many economic indicators right now that are clearly flashing recession. So Moody Analytics was not factoring in a recession. They are now factoring in a recession. Let's see what their downgrade now includes. If an economic downturn manifested, Moody Analytics expected U.S. home prices to fall between 5 to 10%, while significantly overvalued housing markets would fall 15 to 20%. Now, just a month later, Moody Analytics is already revising that bearish housing market outlook downward. I love this article. peak to trough, Moody Analytics now expect U.S. home prices to fall between 5 to 10%. In significantly overvalued housing markets, that forecasted dropped to now between 10 to 15%. If a recession hits, what are they talking about? If we're already in recession, but if a recession hits, Moody Analytics expects the U.S. home price decline to widen to, here we go, 10 to 15%. And the drop in significantly overvalued housing markets to range between 20 and 25%. Isn't this absolute music to our ears, you guys? But again, I ask, like, how are these people not pricing in a recession? But thank goodness, they're finally stepping up. They're finally sounding the alarm. I think we're going to see a lot more of that. I don't think we're seeing a lot of that now. And I believe the reason that is because of the midterms. I don't know that for sure, but that's what I believe. And you know what? The interesting thing is my forecast is essentially a 15 to 20% decline as far as a national average. In overvalued markets, I expect a 40 to 50% decline in values. And I know that's saying a lot. And that's from peak, obviously. But again, you guys, thank goodness there are more and more people that are sounding the alarm. And what we're going to do is we're going to dive into a map just to see where in the nation are the most overvalued metro areas. Let's hop back into the article right now. All right, let me read this and then we'll get to the map. Let's say the U.S. home prices decline 15%. That hypothetical drop wouldn't fully erase the staggering 43% jump in U.S. home prices where we saw during the pandemic housing boom. However, it would be the second biggest home price decline of the post-World War II era. Only the bursting housing bubble, which saw U.S. home prices decline 27% between 2006 and 2012, would have it be. If U.S. home prices do indeed fall by double-digit amount, Fortune would relabel the pandemic housing boom to the pandemic housing bubble. Now, here's the map, you guys. And essentially, when it goes into the blue, it means it's 25% overvalued. But it's very intriguing, guys. There's essentially 400 metro areas here. Of the 400 metro areas, they're essentially saying over half of them are overvalued. And I really want to give some hope to people in Florida. As you can see here, pretty much everywhere in Florida is overvalued significantly. Even in the panhandle here, it's overvalued significantly. And where it's overvalued will likely have the sharpest price decline. So it is coming to Florida, but also take a look at Texas. Texas is hit pretty bad. It's looking like Houston will probably have a 25% price correction, Austin, San Antonio, Dallas. So pretty much everywhere in Texas. Texas is a really good place to live and to invest, in my opinion. But look at out west. California is obviously in bad shape. This is kind of Riverside area, Orange County, Los Angeles, looks like San Diego. Up north is also bad. Here's Bay areas. Look at Nevada. Obviously, Vegas is just tore up. I mean, look at Idaho. Look at all these places. This is crazy, you guys. Look at Arizona I can't believe Arizona. I mean, this is remarkable how overvalued. Obviously, coastal cities along the East Coast, almost every one are severely overvalued. Very interesting. Southern states as well, overvalued. But here's the thing, you guys. As you can see here, this pricing correction is going to be a lot more widespread than 2008, which predominantly severely hurt California, Nevada, Arizona, and Florida. Predominantly, a lot of people got hurt in many different states, but those were the states that got hit the worst. Fast forward to today, Texas is going to be included on that list, and probably a lot more other states. Because of how widespread everything is, we're actually in an everything bubble. Everything is overvalued, and we have a problem everywhere, right? And I think we're going to see that. So it's going to be really interesting to see how our economy can handle the price crash this time around, because in 2008, we couldn't handle it well. So will we be able to handle it well this time? Only time will tell. Let's hop back into the article right now. Where we can find these significantly overvalued housing markets? Well, just about everywhere. Every quarter, Moody Analytics assesses whether local economic fundamentals, including local income levels, can support local house prices. If a housing market is overvalued by more than 25%, Moody Analytics deems it significantly overvalued. Through the first quarter of the year, 183 of the nation's 413 largest regional housing markets were overvalued by more than 25%. That's massive, and I remember that article that came out. In the second quarter of 2022, that figure grew to 210 regional housing markets overvalued by 25% or more. That should be a sign, y'all, of how much trouble we are in as a nation. There is no guessing needed. It's just we need to open our eyes and we need to wake up. And I'm not saying necessarily you that are watching my channel, but I mean, come on, you guys. I mean, we see it all over the place. People are still in denial. Even my friends are like, oh, it can't crash. There's not enough inventory. So there's still a lot of people that don't even see this coming. So I suggest sound the alarm to your friends, empower them, educate them, and let's figure all this out together. But let's hop back into the article right now. All right, y'all. So we have another map here. Let me read the top and then we'll get into the map. During the early phase of the pandemic housing boom, these frothy markets were heavily concentrated in Sun Belt and Mountain West boom towns. However, as the housing boom carried over into 2022, many markets on the West Coast, Midwest, and Northeast also begun to reach frothy valuations. Now, to the degree of which regional home prices are overvalued or undervalued in 2019, according to Moody Analytics. And here's another map, you guys, and you want to pay attention to the red. This is just making it a little bit clearer of where the overvalued metro areas are. And I really think it's interesting, essentially look at how bad a shape it is right here. I mean, it's pretty bad. I mean, and then up here, looks like in Washington, there's a severely overvalued metro area. Looks like Boise severely overvalued. California, bad shape, but mainly Southern California. Again, though, you can't hide Florida. Florida's in super bad shape. Also, Texas in super bad shape. Obviously, Louisiana as well. And I think that Texas and Louisiana are going to make the list of like states that got hit hard, as well as Washington, probably Idaho as well, maybe Utah. I mean, this is crazy, you guys. I mean, pick a metro area. Everything's overvalued. This is absolutely astonishing. We're fixing to make a lot of money as long as we waited and prepared. And here's the last little snippet of this article. If this housing correction, which was spurred by 3% jump in mortgage rates, had occurred 2 years ago, far fewer housing markets would be at risk of home price declines. Back in the second quarter of 2019, just 3 major regional housing markets were considered significantly overvalued. Simply put, in just under 3 years, the housing market went from a historical, affordable housing market to a historically unaffordable housing market. And you guys hear me say that all the time. If the Federal Reserve would have pivoted in 2021, we may have been able to get out of this okay. I believe a big problem with 2021 is obviously there was a new presidency, there's legislation, and I believe they use people's hardships to pass new legislation to get trillions of dollars. People don't even understand what $1 trillion is even more, because Congress is constantly getting trillions of dollars. So this is absolutely wacko. As a result of the Federal Reserve, as a result of quantitative easing, as you can see, you guys, the entire United States is pretty much overvalued, and more than likely the entire United States is going to go through a pretty significant housing market price crash. Now, I hope you're like me, you guys, and you're starting to get excited. I just turned all my paperwork into a lender so that I can see what my payments would be. I'm starting to prepare. Now, my plan is to purchase in February, but I will push that out if necessary. And guys, do me a favor, please comment below. Let me know what value you guys got today from this video. And if you're out there investing in real estate, I wish you luck and I hope you win.